So, what can a kid's cartoon about two total slackers really teach us about brilliant storytelling? Well, you might be surprised. Today, we're diving into the absolute chaos of Banbud R. Budbug to find a narrative structure that is way, way smarter than you think.
You gotta love this quote, right? It just perfectly captures the wonderfully backward logic of our two main guys, Bujdev and Badrinov. It sounds completely ridiculous, I know, but as you're about to see, this kind of upside down thinking is actually the secret sauce that drives their whole story.
Every great story kicks off with a problem. And for our heroes, that problem comes pouring down from the sky, setting the stage for a classic classroom showdown. Okay, so this starts with a fear every kid on the planet understands. Budthev and Badrinath have, surprise, surprise, not done their homework. And their teacher is famous for one very specific, very dreaded punishment, making students pose like a murga, which is a rooster. So for them, the stakes aren't just a bad grade. We're talking public humiliation and, yeah, probably a torn pair of pants. All right, so let's get a quick look at our cast of characters. You've got Budev and Badrinath, our lovable duo who are basically allergic to work. Then there's Mr. Doobie, the teacher who is not messing around. And of course, you have the smart kids, the ones who always have their homework done and are the perfect opposites to our heroes. Let's call it creative energy. So, faced with the horror of the Murga punishment, you'd think our heroes would just do their homework, right? Huh. No, of course not. Instead, they cook up a plan that leans right into the chaos of the day. The logic here is, well, it's kind of genius in its pure laziness. Why deal with your problem when you can just invent a better, more sympathetic one? They figure they can use the pouring rain as the ultimate, undeniable excuse. And this just shows you how well their execution goes. I mean, they're committed to the lie, but they are not exactly smooth criminals. This fumbled line immediately puts their teacher, Mr. Dubé, on high alert. Yeah, they've got a plan, but the delivery, it needs some work. And right here, you can see the two mindsets in a perfect showdown. Our hero's entire strategy depends on failure. They need their leaky umbrella to do a terrible job. The other kids, meanwhile, are using plastic bags and waterproof backpacks. It's just a hilarious classic battle between chaos and order. But just when it seems like their flimsy excuse is about to totally fall apart, the story takes a huge turn. A much, much bigger problem shows up, one that makes a bit of unfinished homework seem like nothing at all. And just like that, we have a real emergency on our hands. Water is gushing into the school storeroom, and it's about to destroy important files and records. The whole conflict just exploded from a personal problem to a full-blown school-wide crisis. Now, this is a crucial turning point. The adults, the people who are supposed to have all the answers, are totally powerless. The janitor is too short to reach the files that are getting soaked. This creates a power vacuum, and it leaves the door wide open for two very, very unlikely heroes to step up to the plate. This is it. This is the moment where everything flips. It's the climax of the story, where the boys' completely bizarre, upside-down way of thinking actually becomes the one thing that can save the day. So just look at this contrast. The adults see a roadblock. They're too short. But the kids? They see a resource. Their solution is completely illogical by any normal standard, but in this one chaotic moment, their brand of crazy logic is absolutely brilliant. And there it is, the big idea. This one line is the heart of the entire episode. It's absurd, it's literal, and you know what? It's the most effective solution you could possibly imagine. They took a metaphor, use your brain, and turned it into a literal, physical action. So their master plan unfolds in 4 simple, absolutely ridiculous steps. They see the problem, they brainstorm an insane solution, they actually pull it off, and against all odds, they succeed. They save the school's records from the flood. But here's the best little detail. You want to know what was in those files they so heroically saved? Their own exam papers, which reveal they both scored a big fat enda, a giant 0. The irony is just chef's kiss. So our heroes have saved the day. Keys closed, right? Well, not quite. The story now moves to its resolution, where their heroism gets rewarded in a way that serves up one final, perfect comedic twist. They're being celebrated as heroes. The teachers are proud. They're promised a reward that fits their quick thinking and bravery. It really seems like the perfect, happy ending to their wild adventure. I mean, think about it. Everything's coming up roses for them. The school is saved, the teachers are thrilled, and for all their trouble, what do they get? A brand new raincoat and a sturdy, totally hole-free umbrella. The perfect gear for any rainy day.
And this brings us all the way back to the beginning. Let's rewind. Remember why they wanted to get soaked in the first place? They needed a good excuse for not doing their homework.
And there it is, the punchline. Their reward, the very thing meant to help them, has just completely destroyed their number one go-to excuse. Their own success has created a brand new problem for their future selves. What we've just seen here is a textbook perfect example of comedic irony. The boys set out to get wet to avoid trouble, and by the end, they're rewarded with the very tools that will keep them dry, which basically guarantees they'll get into trouble tomorrow. It's a beautifully constructed story loop. So what's the big takeaway from all this? Well, this simple cartoon kind of shows us sometimes the most illogical, out there thinking can solve a problem that stumps everybody else. And it proves that a really well-told story can turn a character's biggest flaw into their greatest strength, even if it's just for a moment. Which leaves us with one final question. What's better to have? A leaky umbrella that guarantees a good excuse, or a perfect raincoat that guarantees you actually have to do your homework?